Hey everyone, SwitchDom here. I decided to make this video about Discord, since he makes a once again reappearance in My Little Pony G5. Before then, there was a lot of speculations if Discord could ever return in G5, or if he was even alive or not. But now he has at least confirmation that he is alive. But there was also questions about what would he do in G5 now. It's like with the main six long gone, like especially his best friend Fluttershy. There were a lot of questions about it, and now we have this G5 comic series that is focused on Discord's appearance. Even though the comic series is not about Discord, isn't complete yet. There's still a few more comic issues about Discord's appearance that still hasn't even been released yet. But I'm going to talk about some of the things that has so far been released about his appearance in G5 and about his, well, has been going on in his life since, well, by the end of the G4. Some of them will be focused on during Twilight's reign, from the G4 and up to G5 when he meets the main 5 in the comic series. So, I will be talking about some of his past adventures and all kinds like that. Now, let's start. We know all about Discord's old past. Once he used to be such cruel, arrogant, and manipulative character. But all that changed when he was turned to stone by Celestia and Luna after they used the elements of harmony about 1,000 years earlier. But after he was released, even though that he is of his nature, but he eventually actually got turned good. After that, by the help of Fluttershy's kindness, that he realized that friendship and kindness are something that should be respectful. And that he started to get very much more kinder and more helpful. Still, he could be a little bit arrogant and manipulative. But even though his chaotic nature was still as a unpredictable, but a lot of things in his life would eventually change. A lot of it actually. Knowing about Discord, knowing that he used to be such cruel and self-proclaimed Lord of Chaos, and how he turned out in such bad way, I can understand why the main six were very shocked when Celestia suggested that they use the elements of harmony to reform Discord in for the first place, the first time. I can understand why the main six were very hesitating to do so. But even a lot of things about Discord we don't know much, but we know at least that about his life. But now, let's focus about his life in G5. When Twilight became the next ruler of Equestria, Discord maintained a very good friendship with the main six, especially with his best friend, Fluttershy. But things were eventually starting to change, because this mysterious pony showed up in Ponyville and causing a lot of problems. And eventually this problem was being spread the rest of the kingdom. And Pony's society would eventually be divided once again by arrogance and hatred, and most of all, mistrust. This particular pony turns out to be an alicorn that was very mysterious. But that was not all. Discord tried along with his friends to maintain the peaceful that were. But even the damage this alicorn had done was already done. Has it already been done and couldn't be in reverse. So Twilight decided to gather all the magic in Equestria into 3 crystals that will represent Earth ponies, unicorns, and Pegasi. But at some point during that time, Discord will suffer a huge loss. that would be his best friend, Fluttershy. Fluttershy would eventually pass away by old age, and that impact has a huge impact and effect on Discords, mentally and physically away. Having his only best friend being watched by his own eyes, aging by each year that passed, and eventually pass away of old age. Having that huge impact on him, it was not only like to see Fluttershy, but see the rest of the main six passes away by old age. Knowing that even that he has been around for 1,000 years, and probably will be around for another few hundred years, and all that happened affected him such bad negative way. But not only that, at some point after his best friend had passed away, the magic was gone. Something happened and the crystal became separated, and not only in the process, he lost his own magic. He felt very devastated, not only because of the loss of his own magic, but also that his best friend was now gone. And after all this, he didn't do anything else much about it, except by leaving Ponyville, and he withdrew himself to the one place that he used to be, could felt comfortable. And that was in the underneath the ruins of the former capital of Canterlot. Ever since then, he remained there by himself and like a hermit, except that he had some company of animals. But other than that, the having him such in such conditions mentally, even when all this before that all happened, he had this a kind friendship with Fluttershy, someone he loved and dared so much in the whole world. But knowing that eventually one day she wouldn't be around anymore. Because his friendship with Fluttershy alone was just very special to him. He treated her as such kindness, and to him she was the most amazing friend that he has ever had. But ever since his loss of Fluttershy, it caused a very big rift in his mind and his mental stability. Even after so, I can only imagine like having him seeing his old friend, especially his best friend, growing older for each year and eventually no longer be around. Having this problem to him was the cause of all the trouble. And knowing his originally evil past, when Fluttershy was the only pony out there in the whole world, was willing to give him a chance to prove that kindness, friendship, and that he actually could be reformed. And for that he felt very grateful. Even in the past when he self-proclaimed as Lord of Chaos and the ruler of Equestria. But having such things happen to him, it is unreal to be him, to be seeing his only friend, watching her growing old for each day, and one day no longer be there. Ever since he lost her, ever since the rest of the main six was gone, and about the magic was gone, he felt unloved, and he didn't probably felt that he would be welcomed back into society once the main six was gone. And he probably felt that the rest of the main society of ponies would hate him once they did in the past. Even though when the main six were around, they could probably defend him against other ponies who still may felt unsafe around him, or didn't really trust him enough, or even believe that he was even reformed anyways, only waiting for him to be using his chaos power, his chaos magic to cause problems. So maybe that was the reason after the loss of his best friend Fluttershy, and the rest of the main six was gone, he decided to withdraw himself from society and just live somewhere else where he couldn't be bothered by any pony, just by himself, waiting, perhaps waiting for one day when he would rejoin Fluttershy in the afterlife. Who knows? We don't even know if Discord is even immortal, or just have a very long lifespan. But having this problem, having to see him once being a cruel, evil, arrogant character, and open up and embrace friendship and kindness, and be reformed by one of the most sweet ponies that ever existed, and seeing his own best friend Fluttershy pass away by the old age, and the rest of his friends as well, and having this unpredictable future ahead of him. Having the rest of the society being divided once in three kinds, again, like three tribes, as they used to be. Maybe that was another reason that he decided to leave, to return, live in solitude, living in a peaceful, alone life. He would probably wouldn't even aware of if the rest of society will even accept him once again that they did when the main six were around. Perhaps when the main six weren't around, they wouldn't be able to defend him against other ponies, fearing that he would use his magic. Once the main six were gone, he could use his magic to control Equestria. But that is another thing. I first believed that Discord will still have his own magic around, even when most of the pony magic was gone, because I strongly believed that his magic was not the same as the pony's magic are. I first believed that the pony magic was the only one that's been gone, and that his powers will still be around. But he was completely opposite from that. Turns out, Discord's own magic disappeared around the same time with the pony's magic also. But having this affected him. He became more sentimental, elusive, became like a hermit when he decided to live by himself underneath the old ruins of Canterlot. But he still can be acting as friendly. And even though he still could be a little bit arrogant, but he still much enjoy friendship or at least company of other ponies. But I cannot understand why he decided to leave. Maybe it was because that he has the most reason that he left the society, because without the main six out there, maybe they couldn't have been able to defend him against other ponies, but either by a fear, believing he will take over the kingdom once again he did in the past. But that is my only belief on that though. I mean, think about it. A lot of Discord's past and other predictions were unpredictable. But now, let's talk about his true motive. In the G5 timeline, Discord's personality had been a lot different compared to in his past. He can be very sneaky, manipulative like in the past, but he has become, ever since his loss of Fluttershy and his magic, he still can be a little bit arrogant, but also he left the society to become as like a hermit. But he was actually the one who stole the Pegasite crystal from the start. And his true motive and reason why, he's strongly thought and believed that in the past conflicts between ponies, Discord made this conclusion is a very irrational conclusion, that the world would be better off without magic, even if it meant his own magic. And his views of all this, he saw that the magic was the source of the conflict and division, and he thought the world would be better off if the magic didn't exist. And therefore, he decided he wanted to make a permanent end. Because one day he just discovered the magic did return. And he was very afraid. Once that in the past knowledge about the past, that a lot of conflict, especially when Trixie, Chrysalis Tirak and Kozaglo used the magic in order to take over Equestria. And especially even when Tirak once tried to steal the magic twice before them. So knowing that, he first believed maybe that was the reason that he didn't want to have any such thing as magic to return. So after he found out the magic has once returned, he went to Midtime Bay, took the full Pegasus crystal, and left, returning back home under beneath the ruins of Canterlot. That is actually his own opinion based on the past history. But in my opinion, that is a very stupid, irrational conclusion. Very much, very unrealistic conclusion, because the magic is the main source of all the past conflicts and division. True fact is, maybe that is not all that he strongly believed. There might be another reason why that Discord didn't want to bring back the magic. He perhaps made it as a promise himself, and perhaps as a promise to Fluttershy, to make sure that no ponies would start a conflict against each other once again. Perhaps he thought maybe that Fluttershy would agree with him. Without the magic, the Pegasus, Earth ponies, and unicorns once again could live peacefully. But his arrogance of all this belief was very much blinded him. It literally blinded him. How could anyone, especially like Discord, having this idea? Like, how can he even come up with this irrational conclusion that the world would be better off without magic? Sure, for at least a few generations after seeing Twilight's ending of her ruling, the world were without magic for a while, for quite some time. Earth ponies in Maritime Bay had developed technology like, well, TV, cell phones, even including like in Separate Heights. But that didn't mean that he was right about removing the magic once again. Think about it. The ponies of it once again became reunited. They became friends. They embraced friendship and kindness. And even despite that, I cannot see for certain why he strongly believes that the magic is the main source of all the past problems with the conflicts or any likes of that. His point of that is just might be a little bit overrating. I can't say for certain, but why would he make this conclusion from the first beginning? I can't say, because I don't even know. But they're thinking about the loss of his best friend, and that also losing his magic could be the two triggers to make think that maybe that was the loss. Maybe that was the main reason. Think about it. Losing his own magic and his best friend Fluttershy. Even someone he still misses very much even today. Maybe but the loss of his best friend somehow snapped inside him. Especially when the magic was just gone, vanished. Maybe that triggered a second thing inside his mind, thinking, and that he somehow came up with this idea that the magic is the main source of all problems. And now this magic was gone, and just one day, suddenly he discovered the magic had once again returned. And maybe then he realized some pony had found the crystals and united them once again. And he was afraid that the ponies would use the magic once again to start conflicts and other things like they did in the past. So this self-proclaimed Lord of Chaos decided he was going to prevent that by stealing the Pegasus crystal and leave and go back to Canterlot, well, at least the ruins of the city. But that is only I can even imagine why he did it. But think, why otherwise would Discord going it at this far? by stealing one crystal. But I do know for sure, Fluttershy wouldn't be happy if she knew that Discord went this far by stealing one of the crystals, one of the same crystals that her best friend, her friend Twilight, made, so that it can contain all the magic in Equestria inside. I can't say because, but I do believe Fluttershy wouldn't be happy if she found out if Discord went at this far. She would probably be happy that Fluttershy's and her friend's legacy would have been continued, and that the crystals once again have been united, and that the Ponykinds have once again embraced friendship and peace. But having her old friend Discord going so far by stealing one of the crystals and preventing the magic from ever returning, I don't believe that Fluttershy wouldn't even been happy about it. She probably would have felt betrayed, hurt by her own friend, causing this problem once again. And especially in his theory that removing the source of the cause, the source of all the conflicts in the past, and also prevent it happen again, like repeating the same things over and over. By removing the crystal from the united of the whole three together, he believed maybe by removing it, there wouldn't be any repeating past conflicts in the future. But his resolve, his idea by resolving it by removing the crystal as a permanent end of all magic and all that, in a misguided as attempt to keep peace among ponies. I honestly don't believe any of that at all. I mean, come on. If Discord really wanted peace to be among ponykind, why not just seeing how things had changed? Or perhaps he could have been teaching the ponies once again by teaching them how the past were. So make sure that they don't repeat the same thing as their ancestors did. If Discord could have been teaching the next generation of ponies to embrace friendship and also make sure they don't repeat the same mistakes and conflicts as their ancestors did over 1,000 years earlier or something like that. That is the only reason I can even think that Discord should have been teaching the new generation of ponies and the modern society not to repeat the same thing once again. But did it? No! Rather than thinking the conclusion answer that removing the crystal in a way to stop the magic from ever happening. That is a very stupid and a very much irrational conclusion. In a conclusion, from my own opinion. But imagine though how Discord went through. Loss of his best friend. Maybe it's that was enough for him to believe the magic shouldn't be back. Even if it means the loss of his own magic, perhaps. But perhaps he was maybe right about that opinion, but I can't say for certain about that. But since the main five had managed to bring Earth ponies, unicorns, and Pegasi back as be friends, maybe if he could see how their efforts, how Sunny Star Scout has been following Twilight's past adventures and even has been following Twilight and her friends' guidance, and make sure that in her to see how compassion, how she wanted to bring the friendship once again back to society. Perhaps then Discord could maybe not have been stealing the crystal in the first place. But like I said, it is a lot of speculations, but this is the only thing I can even imagine why Discord did it. But there's still a lot of Discord that we don't know much about. Like, maybe there is another reason, but I can't say for sure. But if any of you, my friends or viewers, have your any honestly opinions thoughts about this? Let me know in the comment section below, because I really honestly want to hear your opinions about this. So let me know in the comment section below. As always, this is Switch Diablo, over and out.